the sunshine is out there today. The bad news is that today is a Blue Monday.
There you go.
How does the rest of the day of the year?
A Blue Monday. Blue Monday is supposed to be the most depressing day of the year.
How does it feel?
Right?
How does
Is it
it
July too? Yeah, I don't know. But generally, in this time of year, you got crappy weather out there. It's dark and it's cold and it's But the biggest thing is everybody got their mail in the last week. You know what's in your mail in the last week? All your credit card bills for Christmas. That's, holy smokes! I should have done that, right? We've got lots of changes here coming up in 2023. So I'm going to sort of outline it here. But what I want you to think about when I'm talking about all these things is how are we going to keep in contact with our past clients? Does anybody agree? Everybody agrees that past client database is important. We've been pushing this now for forever. But the reason why we've been pushing it is for market likes today. When the market takes a bit of a shift and people aren't phoning you, you got to phone them, right? Am I making this up or no? Is it in the last 2022, 2021, did people phone you or did you phone them? I assume you probably did both. But I think a lot of people were in the business of real estate and maybe not so much today. And that's the purpose of the database. And that's the purpose of contacting people and asking for referrals or asking for business, right? And we're in the sales business. We're not in the business of necessarily giving out information. So we're in there to create sales or to create dialogue. So for instance, let's take the yellow piece of paper here that I've been promoting now for the last little bit. This is the vacant tax information. I saw some postings on some YouTube videos or Instagram. Instagram Reels, I guess, or just Instagram Reels. I'm seeing more and more Instagram Reels. Good going for everybody here that's doing those. I'm not sure if you're doing them before or whether I'm just seeing them on the Central and Percy Fulton site. I think we're putting them on the Percy Fulton agents Facebook, I guess they're connected to, right? And it's good that you're doing that, and it's good things that are happening there. But you still have to remember that we're in sales. And in sales, I'm going old school now. Looking at Elio here. So when people phoned, here's how we trained people in the old days. Okay, when you had we used to do newspaper advertising, and newspaper advertising, that was the social media wasn't there. It was newspaper advertising. So everybody would advertise in newspapers, right? So if you had a property that was a 2-bedroom property at the time for $250,000, but let's say 2-bedroom, let's say a 3-bedroom house, $1 million. What you would do as an agent, you would circle your ad saying, okay, so somebody's going to call me on this ad. And then what you do is you circle other ads that were the same as your ad, so that when somebody phoned you up, you would talk about your particular listing or advertising, but you'd also say, oh, by the way, did you also circle this one? Did you also circle that one? And you have the information on those as well. So so even though they're phoning on that one property, you can give them information of all the ads that were there that were similar to yours. You understand the concept?
No competition.
So no, like they're gonna phone you on yours, but you're gonna give them more information of other things and make it easier for them to look for something, right? So that was one of the things we would do. The other thing we would do, Elio, is looking at Elio, he's around. We never put the address, or we never give the full information, right? We'd always want them to call. You'd always leave something out so they're going to call. So if you had an advertising that showed everything about the property, the view and the hardwood floors and the bedrooms and everything else, why would somebody want to call you? Why would you leave something out? Why don't you leave the price out? Why don't you leave the bedrooms out? Why don't you leave something out to force somebody to call you? You understand the logic what I'm talking about? So going back to this yellow paper here, you've got two choices. You can tell your Instagram, you can say, hey, here's the thing. You better not forget to fill that out. Don't throw it out. It's reverse billing. They're going to charge you 1% if you don't answer them, and so on and so forth. And give them the whole spiel. Or would you just say, hey, did you get a yellow piece of paper in your thing? Maybe give me a call and I can give you details. So we're talking about sales here. So we're not just saying what you do is you want to scare them, and you say, hey, did you fill out your proper form? Did you fill out your little form properly? If you don't fill out properly form, you might be a big surprise. Give me a call and I can explain why. You know what I'm talking about here? So it's these types of things, and there's all kinds of stuff which I'm going to talk about in 2023 that you can use as ammunition for your Instagram and for your Facebook, whatever you want to do. So I'm going to talk about those things as we go through. So as I'm going through these notes, And every meeting that I talk about, every meeting that I do, I talk about stuff, you should be making notes saying that's something I can do on Instagram. That's something I can do on Facebook. That's something I can do a reel on. That's something I can do a video on. Anything, right? But again, we're in sales. We're not there to give information. We're there to have them call us. That's the purpose of the call. The purpose isn't to educate them on Instagram or Facebook. The purpose of advertising is to get them to call you. You follow what I'm saying here? So don't get caught up in the trap where you want to give them all the information. You want to give them information to call you. So what would be interaction here? So what would be a good intro for this here? If they haven't done it already. Who's done this, by the way? Who has gone to the past client database, say, oh, by the way, did you get a yellow piece of paper in the mail? I know some people did, and I more and more are. I know that we did our session last Wednesday, and we're talking about these types of things. So that's something to talk about, your past client database. So a lot of people don't want to bug their clients, but it's something to talk about. That's the vacancy tax. So we've got the Toronto vacant tax. It's out there. And just so you know, we found out as well that both, it's not just Toronto that's doing the vacancy tax. It's also Hamilton and it's also Ottawa. And Ottawa is effective right now. And Hamilton is effective in 2024. Is that right? So if you've got any clients that have invested in the Hamilton area there and they've got some investment properties, and that's something you may want to address to those folks, saying, hey, by the way, you've got this vacancy tax as well. So it's there. Just get into sales for a minute here. Right now we started the month off less than 8,000 listings, right? Sorry, less than 9,000 listings. So we've gone up a little bit here. So as of yesterday, we've got 9,153 active listings. Anybody remember 2017, 18, 17? How many active listings? 4,000, right? 4,000. So you think 9,000, oh my God, there's no listings, but 17, we had 4,000. And what happened in 17, the market went crazy. And then in April of 2017, they had to come in with stress tests and some other things to slow things down. So now we're sitting there with 9,000 listings. So it's still not enough, but it's out there and there's some movement. So we've actually sold almost 1,000 so far this year. We're still down 48%, but that number is going to be the same for the first quarter. We're going to see numbers like minus 48, minus 40%. That's going to be like the first quarter. I don't see any differences until things change a little bit. But that's what you're going to see. So this year we got 1,000. Last year we had 2,000. I find this odd. If you're reading the newspapers, the newspapers will tell you that the condominium market is picking up. That the condominium market is the market that's because it's less price and the interest rates are so high. That's why the condominium market is doing okay. But the condominium market's down 55% and the freehold's down 42%. So when you read the papers and you get caught up in that whole thing, it's really not necessarily true. So just be careful with that too. Leases, it's strange too. Leases are actually up 3%. Freehold leases are up 5%, and condo leases are up 10%. If you look at the rental market today, would you tell me that the rental market is strong or is it weak? I say it's weak. I'm seeing no. What do you think, Alex?
I think it's strong. I think it's trying.
So you got 5 on where? Facebook Marketplace, and you getting lots of calls?
Is it like core downtown or?
Okay, so one of the reasons here is advertising on Facebook Marketplace, and you've got what, 5 ads running right now, you said, and you've got all kinds of calls for them. And what price range? Under $2,500 for a house or condo? Okay, all right. So I guess it's individual experience. So I don't know. I'm like, what's going on in your area, Raj? Is it
Kind of put the price a little bit lower than we wanted, and we got the price we were looking for.
Is that right? Okay.
Price
So,
wise,
all right.
okay.
Because I know that out in Durham, we had a hard time selling some condos downtown, something they're selling, but anyways. Why do you say it's busy right now?
Like downtown for like India, like within 4 or 5 days. They're almost full asking price.
Yeah. I've got one for lease right now. It's still sitting there. Everybody want to buy it? Anybody want to lease it?
What's your price?
Price.
Price.
Actually, sometimes it's location.
Price.
She's a good student, right?
She learned from that.
Learn from the best, because I always say it doesn't matter. You've got 10-inch nails versus 6-inch nails. It doesn't matter the market. The only way you can deal with is the price. Right?
No.
Good for you. Okay, so Ottawa's doing it too. Vacant home tax. Okay, and everybody understands vacant home tax, what the deal is, right? So it's got to be it's retroactive. Just to remind you guys, it's retroactive. So the question that they ask on that form is, during 2022, was a property vacant or occupied for more than 6 months? And you're going to put on there it was rented, and they're going to say, okay, fine. What's the name and the phone number of your tenant?
Do you think they have the system that they can find that if you put the information correct?
I don't know. And if you, the only deterrent for not telling the truth is it's a $250 fine. So if somebody forgets to fill out that form, then they get their tax bill this year, then they're going to complain, and they're going to say, wait. And the city's going to say, well, you never filled in an application. Now that you've filled in the application, we're going to charge you $250 to reverse it. If you lie, right? Let's say you say it's been tenanted and it wasn't tenanted, it's a $10,000 fine. So can you get caught? How are you going to get caught? I have no idea. I mean, it's I thought it was pretty bold for this city to ask for your clients, for the tenant's phone number. You know what I mean? Like, with all the privacy and all this stuff going on there, and right there it says right there, what's your client's phone number? I thought that was a little odd too. So,
They call the tenant.
right? Or
So you think they're going to do all the calls?
they're not going to make any calls. It's going to be a complaint basis, right? Now think about this, and we've got to come up with the clause on that. And I think I read something on Travis. It's going to go off the top of my head, but we were talking about this last week. If you sell a house today, you sell a house in 2023 that's vacant, you have to make sure that the existing tenant, the existing owner, is going to pay that 1% tax and not your client. You follow what I'm saying? So if you've got a vacant property that you're buying, regardless of what the agent tells you, you got to put something in that to protect your buyer, that they're not paying that 1%, because the question is 2022, and the 1% tax will be on the 2023 taxes. And the 1% tax is more than the 0.68, whatever it is, in the city of Toronto. So it's actually more than the tax that they're paying right now. So if you buy a place and this isn't discovered, it's not disclosed, then the owner of the house in 2023 will be paying the 1% tax for 2022.
So that is the lawyer is gonna go after them. Who's gonna go after them?
They're going to come after you and me because we didn't protect our buyers. Okay, so I know the Trev talked about it. We come up with the clause, or do we look at that yet? Or okay, you didn't like it though. Huh? Ginny didn't like it. Ginny's so smart now. Yeah. Anyway, so we're preparing something on that, and when I get through my papers here, I'll probably come up with something else that addresses that as well. But I just want to make sure that you're aware of that. Everybody understands the issue. Anybody think about the issue before? I don't know. It's just something we were thinking about the other day, that there's got to be something going on, because I was talking to an agent who was buying a vacant property, and I'm thinking, wait a minute here. And what if I don't know? You tell me. What if the owner lied and said it wasn't vacant and it was, and then they catch him, and then who gets charged? That guy or the current owner? Knowing the city, they're going to sue the current owner and let the current owner sue the other guy. I don't know. So we'll see. Okay, Trev has decided they're gonna do no fee events, or sorry, a no-show fee. So if you sign up for a Toronto Real Estate Board session downtown, let's say they've got they might have a session at where's the Parkview? What's the name of that? Parkview Manor. They have shows at Parkview Manor. They bring in Tay from CIBC, or they'll bring in some speaker, and they'll have maybe a lunch or breakfast or something there, and you sign up for it. If you sign up for it and you don't show up, usually it's free, but if you sign up for it, you don't show up, they're gonna charge you $50. So it's just a fee that's out there anyways. We talked about the public records last week. I haven't got any good news there. They reversed the public records. So now you want public records, you have to go to Geo Warehouse. And Geo Warehouse tells you everything, I believe. It has the date that the place was built. It has the different owners. I think it shows the bathrooms or the bedrooms, something in there, but it does not show the square footage. Used to be on public records, you could do a comparable search and get a range 2,500 to 3,000, but now Geo Warehouse won't do that. We don't have access to that. So if you're ever talking to somebody from the Toronto Real Estate Board with suggestions, the suggestion might be that the square footage be a mandatory field and that the listing agent pay the $5 or $9, get the official square footage and stick that on listings, rather than the buying agent having to go through and search all these things to find out what's going on. The reason why I say that is a lot of agents do not tell the truth about square footage. They'll say a house is 3,000 to 3,500. In fact, it's 2,900 square foot. Anybody seen that before? Once or twice a day. Condominiums, the guy will say it's 600 square foot and the exact same unit above it is 550 square foot. What's going on is because this guy's counting the balcony, this guy's not. Right, so it goes on all the time. So if they've taken away this square foot range, then I think that they should make the square footage being a mandatory field. That'd be the only thing I could think that would solve it. So if you ever want to write a letter to anybody that's of any authority, that'd be my suggestion. Korea came in that announcement saying effective January 1st, we can't take exclusive listings. Sorry. You can take exclusive listings, but you can't advertise exclusive listings. And they came in a proposal across Canada saying that if you're going to advertise an exclusive listing, it has to be on MLS in 2 days. But what they've done, this is effective on January 1st, 2023. But they've also given each board or each province 6 months to come up with their own rules and regulations. So right now, nothing's changed until AREA tells us what the changes are. And the changes have to make sense. Makes zero sense to me what Korea is proposing. So it's up to AREA to clean it up. So as we speak today, yes, you can take exclusive listings. Yes, you can advertise it. Yes, you can put coming soon to MLS or coming soon, do whatever you want. So don't make any changes yet, but we'll keep an eye on that as we go through. I mentioned this before, but the Canadian government decided that they're going to keep the stress test there. There was talk about maybe changing the stress test from 2% to something else because the way the interest rates have gone up, but the government came in and said, no, they're not going to change the stress test. So it's still to qualify today for a mortgage. It's based on 5.25% plus 2%, or whatever the rate you have plus 2%. So even if you got a mortgage today for what are the mortgage rates today? 5.9. Okay, so it was 5.9, so you have to qualify for 7.9. If it were 4.9, you'd have to qualify for the 5.25 plus 2. Right? Everybody's okay with that?
That's the
Not okay with that. Not okay with that.
Everybody understands it though? Okay, there's title fraud. Some things made the papers recently about title fraud.
that one property.
So this is what I'm saying here on your Instagram, on your Facebook. Would this be something you may want to talk to your clients about, saying, hey, you may have heard the news about people stealing properties, stealing title from properties. Give me a call and let me tell you how you can protect yourself. Right? Everybody okay with them? Looking at everybody understands what title insurance does? Now you may have some older clients. Let's say you've got some clients that bought a house. I'm not sure when title search came in. I want to say 20 years ago. Anybody know? 25 years ago, 20 years ago? Let's say you got some old folks. Let's say you got some clients that are in their 70s or 80s. They bought their properties in the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 80s even. There's no title insurance on those properties, and they're probably mortgage free. They're probably mortgage free and there's no title insurance. So these are individuals that you want to phone and talk to and say, oh, by the way, maybe you read the news. Somebody's trying to steal properties. Maybe you want to consider getting title insurance. Cost you $350. If you want me to send some information to you, right? That'd be something to talk about. I would think, right? Not to scare people. Anybody have old clients like that? No? So that's something to think about. I love the way, anybody read, I didn't want to talk negative stuff today, but I have to, right? Blog TO, anybody familiar with Blog TO? Anybody, no? Okay, I guess it's just me, I don't know. I'm a student of real estate, so I used to look at things all the time. Blog TO is pretty much a right-wing paper, but it talks about here, infuriating, I love the word, infuriating graphic shows how much Toronto real estate market has changed in 10 years. It's infuriating. What they're saying is infuriating because prices have doubled. In 2013, the Toronto detached home sold for $722,000. Today it's selling for 1.6. So that's like $1 million increase, right? Semi-detached is 556. Today it's 1.1. Row houses 505. This year $1 million. This is all Toronto, right? Condominium apartments 342, now 741. So basically the prices have doubled in the last 10 years. Not a bad investment. So if you got a renter out there, I think I'm talking to somebody who's got a renter who's rented now for the last 10 plus years. So basically they're thinking they want to rent because they don't want to get involved in real estate. Meanwhile, real estate's doubled in the last 10 years. The picture used to be on Linda's wall. I don't know. The old guys that want to wait. It's a picture of these old couple there that are shaky and clinging. And it's just the ages that wanted to wait for the market to change.
Because nobody's gone.
Somewhere.
Agents report surge in home buyers desperate to get out of deals as rates continue to soar. Has anybody seen that yet? Does anybody have any pre-construction clients that have gotten a hold of them and say, hey, I'm not sure I want to move forward with this. I don't know if I can move forward with this. Anybody had that yet? Just one? Some
Mortgage broker that did, and he had to take over.
mortgage broker had a client that had to do something. He had to get into it.
Became the owner of it.
So they're saying here that the significant higher interest rates has risen the inquiries from clients saying that, gee, maybe they can't close. So some guys that, and what they're asking is, can they get out of a purchase agreement with the developer? And the answer is no. Well, you can get out, but you're going to lose your deposit, right? And sometimes that might be the only way you can do it. I mean, if you don't qualify, if you bought a place 2-3 years ago, 3 years ago, based on the rates at that time, and now the rates have gone up quite a bit, you may not qualify based on that mortgage. So you may not have an option. Yeah, correct. That's right. That's right. Yeah, again, they have to qualify at 7%. When they bought the place, they probably had to qualify for 4% or something, right?
The problem is a lot of appraisals coming about more.
And appraisals are coming in low too. So now you've got double win, right? So you've got the appraisal coming in and you've got the interest rate. So now you got a double win.
But the builders are really smart. Now they don't allow it like till the very last day, the appraisal shows up to the place. Otherwise, the values.
So the developers are not allowing appraisals?
Yeah, not in advance, so much in advance. They're trying to delay the projects as much, so at least the market catches up to that value that they sold.
Okay. Yeah, so you've got a client like that. There's lots of options. There's private lenders out there. There's B lenders. You can just give the money back to the developer and the developer will take it back. Okay, too. But what they're saying here is that people that bought like 3, 4, 5 years ago are okay because they may have bought at, I don't know, $800 a square foot. Now it's going for what, $1,500 a square foot. So it's just a matter of hanging in there and paying the 9 or 10 or 11% private financing, but they're still ahead of the game just to close. Once they close, then they go ahead and sell the place and away they go, right? But they're gonna have to pay to make that happen.
Also, during the occupancy, significantly higher than before.
Is that right? So Chad's saying that the occupancy fee is more than it was before, but I thought,
Yeah, it's because of the rates of now.
Right, yeah, it's higher.
That comes to the effect.
But it used to be less than what your mortgage property.
okay, so,
Now you're investing more than what you think.
all right, yeah. So what's, so somebody's saying here during the occupancy period, when you're paying rent, the rent is gonna be more than what your mortgage is gonna be. Is that what you're saying? In some cases, but when you sign a pre-con contract, is the occupancy set?
No,
So it just says subject to at the current rates at the time?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something that a new buyer doesn't know, eh? Wow.
No, we do tell them at that time.
Well, a lawyer.
Yeah, but nobody's, they're all excited about buying this place and they're all in the hype and everybody's lined up and they're all buying. Nobody's telling them any details. All right, so that's something to think about there. Now, if you do happen to have people that want to do assignments, we talked about the broker pocket. Anybody look into that at all? There's broker pocket up there where you can put assignment listings on there without identifying the unit itself, without identifying the builder. There's lots of builders out there that don't want you advertising properties, but this is the way you might be able to do it without letting anybody know. Had another email the other day from torontoassignments.com. Does anybody else know any web pages out there? There's quite a few out there. torontoassignments.com, broker pocket, condos.ca. There's quite a few out there that'll put assignments on there. Just be a little careful though, because some of these assignment sites are nothing more than an agent advertising to get assignments from the public. So, and same as agents advertising new construction, they pretend they're the builders. And they're saying, VIP access, blah, 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 blah. No. They say VIP access? No, they say new condos coming to town. They're pretending to be the builder and they're not. The assignment guys are doing the same thing. So what you really want is a neutral guy. That's why I like that brokerpocket.ca. It's done by a separate company. It's not done by a realtor. And I'm not sure what this Toronto assignments. I think it's the same thing. Toronto assignments, you've got all the assignments in there. If you click on there, it goes to whoever posted that listing, doesn't go to them. And you just want to be a little bit careful out there that you're not, that you're hiring the right people, all right? Toronto Realtor says it's not the time to panic about pre-construction. Things are fine. Must pass the stress tests. He's saying here that of all the clients he had that bought, everybody closed. He says for some reason, people do close. And I'm saying that only about 5% of all pre-construction sales are bought by people that want to assign them. Most of them are bought by people that can afford to close. So it's only 5% are doing the assignment. So does that make
So
sense?
They would have to live there or not even vacant.
And they put regular-
I'm just worried about people closing right now. I don't know what they're gonna do after they close. So, right, we'll get to that point afterwards, but it's only 5% of the people want to assign properties. That was pretty low. And they're saying that most of the people, I forget the number here. But most people are either buying it for their own use or buying it to rent out. What about your clients are buying to rent out, right? They're not buying to flip, they're not buying it to rent out, right? And Treb has done an experimental thing out there called Altus Data Studio. Did you guys see that on Toronto MLS? And basically it's all new construction. So if you wanted to find out new construction going on there, you go to the Altus. It's right now it's on a beta test. But you'll be able to go in there and be able to see different projects that are coming down the stream. If you've got somebody that's starting from scratch, you want to know what the projects. This Altus has those new construction projects. So it's before I think it was called not Realtor Link. Real net or something, right? So it looks like these guys may have taken it over. Discover new home projects in the low rise and high rise segments. The newer, quicker, more accurate tool will replace RealNet in March 2023. So it's another thing coming on for different things. GTA condo purpose-built rental completions see record-breaking start. So what's going to happen in 2023? You've got, I think I asked the question, how's the rental market? The rental market's okay, but it's going to get more competitive soon. So if you've got a client that's trying to rent something and it's sitting there, you might want to reduce the price and get it rented. Right? There are 30,000 units that are going to come to the GTA this year, that they're finished projects. So there's 32,000 new condos. And they're slated for the GTA. Typically they realistically probably thinks maybe 25 to 30,000. This is also the biggest year for purpose-built units. There's seven of those 32,000. There's 7,724 purpose-built rentals. And that's the most they've had in years. And they're also saying that even though it's 30,000, most of those are in the 905 area, not downtown. In downtown area, there's less than a third are downtown. So about 10,000, 12,000 of those units would be downtown condos. So when you read the headlines, think 30,000 units, think, oh, so the market's going to change. But then you look at it again, you realize it's only 12,000 in Toronto. So it's going to affect a little bit, but not a whole lot. If you've got clients that are trying to renew their mortgages, has anybody had that happen yet? Because they're saying here that the average, just going off by on top of my head here, but the average payment for mortgages has gone up, what was it, $1,000, $1,200 per month? Has anybody experienced that yet, where you're on a variable rate mortgage and all of a sudden now it's gone up, well, went up 7 times, 4%. So you may have some clients that are sitting there in distress. They can, if they like, they can sell the place. That'd be the objective that you like to see. But at the same time, if they want to try to stay in their place, they can go to the lenders and try to renegotiate the amortization to help them make that offset. So again, Instagram, Facebook, hey, renewing your mortgage and for a big shock, give me a call for some advice. Right? Something, or you can spill the beans and say, yeah, go to your bank and renegotiate your amortization period to reduce your mortgage, your monthly payments. Not everybody will do it, but it's something to talk about there too, right?
Just go back to your 2018 client list too, and
Another thing,
actually
yeah,
private methods of color.
go to your clients that have bought in 2018, or if you're in a farm area, find out who bought in 2018, 2017, and pinpoint those guys and try to contact them and try to give them some financial advice. Help must sell in 30 days. Mortgage brokers reported uptake in forced sales of GTA. Has anybody noticed that yet? Has anybody noticed any power sales company? I think I saw one last week.
Just like there's a bunch.
A couple. Okay, so it's out there. Early stages, rough times are ahead in GTA real estate market, with Toronto mortgage brokers reporting a rise in forced sales of private and alternative lenders. What they're saying here is that not necessarily the people that have bought from banks or institutions, it's the people that have bought from private lenders, or the ones that are saying they're not renewing. So they're telling the buyer, we're not going to renew your mortgage at any rate. So now he's got to scramble and get the place sold to try to get refinancing, which he may not qualify for. And this is where we can come in and try to help him sell the place or do something. But so, and just so you know, some B lenders are what they call predatory lenders, and their whole purpose is to hope that the lender reneges on their payments so they can take the property over. Years ago, a company came up here from the States called Wells Fargo, and that was actually in their written thing. They were hoping that people would not make their payments so they could take the properties over. Anybody know any private lenders are like that? No? You think they're heroes at the end, but they're not. They're snakes, right? So not snakes. No. They're fulfilling their purpose. They're fulfilling their purpose, right? But they're in their money to make money. They're not there to whatever. Even though the vacancy or the failure rate for mortgages in Toronto and Ontario is 0.06%. 0.06% of all mortgages have to go to power sale. That's hardly anything, right? Vacancy rates downtown Toronto condos. Somebody's asked me last week about what's going on with in the commercial side. And I know on industrial side, it's very difficult to try to find industrial space or rent out industrial space. On the office side downtown, they've got a 13.6% vacancy rate for office space. And that's the reason, because of a lot of tech companies downtown who decided not to move forward. So some company called Shopify? Shopify was supposed to take something like 350,000 square feet of a new building called The Well. Everybody know where The Well is?
Real Cannon tried that.
It's a real Cannon Tridel. So Shopify was supposed to take over 348,000 square feet of office space, and now they canceled that contract. They're not going to move forward. Amazon also announced that they're going to get rid of 18,000 people. That's the mega stuff I didn't want to talk about. We talked about that second home not being somebody stealing that second property with the title insurance. One thing that we checked here, and we didn't realize you can do this, but if you're doing rentals, and part of our job is to do the due diligence. And I didn't realize this, but Nelson figured this out. If you go to the Ministry of Transportation, you can go to the driver's licenses. You can actually take somebody's driver's license and put it into this program, and they'll tell you whether the license is valid or invalid. So these guys that stole the property, the guys that pretended whatever else, all somebody had to do at the time was to run the driver's license through this program, and they would have thought it was not valid. So they would have found it right away.
If it's like PR or some other IDs, how do you check those?
Don't know, but it's just a driver's license. So PR stuff, I'm not sure. I know you can double check HST numbers too. Put an HST number, it'll tell you whether it's valid or not valid. I don't know if you can put a passport number in to find out whether it's valid or not valid, or PR card. I don't know.
Unless if the wires are part of the part.
No, I think
Maybe two IDs. No?
so. The question, Bill's question is how is it that they can go all the way to the point where
They cash in
where
the
they
check.
where they actually cash the check? They fooled everybody. They fooled the lawyers. They fooled the agents. They fooled everybody, right?
So the lawyer wasn't involved.
No, lawyer wouldn't be involved. Lawyer wouldn't be involved. We're not involved. They scammed everybody.
No, one side lawyer.
No, they scammed everybody. Why would a lawyer get involved? Lawyers just like realtors. We're not going to do that on purpose. So I think we're all victims, right? So they just had all the stuff.
Yeah. Cautiously.
Well, okay. So if we get in trouble and somebody comes to us and say that, you did this, and okay, well, I did a check here, and I phoned the employer. I did I did everything I can do.
These days, everything is brought to time and if you need them,
We have a situation now where we introduced a tenant to a property, and the tenant was a professional crook, right? Fake ID and everything else, right? And it wasn't our listing, it was someone else's listing. So the owner's getting back to us saying it's our fault that we didn't check the tenant. And I'm thinking, wait a minute here, it's your listing agent's the one that should be checking the tenant. Everybody follow me there? If you're the listing agent and you're representing your seller, and some other agent gives you a buyer, do you guys check it out? I know a lot of agents do, but does everybody? Because this listing agent said, well, that's what the buyer's agent gave me. What am I supposed to do? It's the listing agent's responsibility to phone the employer, or at least tell their client it's your responsibility to phone their employer, but somebody has to do the due diligence and check it. If you're not going to do it, then make sure your client does it. The buying agent's not going to do it. Am I right or no?
100%.
Well, I don't know. But you're going to get sued anyways. Everybody gets sued. And what the mortgage companies are, they're talking about the mortgage payments being so high. Equifax is saying that it's not the interest rates that caused the problem. He says, he says the public had the problem before the interest rates went up because of the prices went doubled pretty much in 10 years. We talked about. He said the prices have gone up so much. Everybody was already paying $1,000 more than they should have already before the interest rate increased. Because they're saying here it was the value of the properties going up that caused the amount of money to go up. In 2017, Yeah, in the Q3 2023, the average mortgage payment was $1,400. In 2017, it was $1,200, and that was before the interest rate increases. That's what they're saying. Okay, now there's 6 new tax benefits coming in 2023. This is another Instagram moment, right? We have a first-time home buyer seminar. Okay, or sorry, first home savings account. Everybody familiar with that? It starts on April the 1st. So if you're a first-time buyer, and a first-time buyer for this program here is people that have not owned a home in the previous 5 years. Very similar to the the other program, the home buyers program, the HBP program. You cannot have owned a home in the previous 5 years to qualify for that. Does everybody know what I'm talking about there? I'm gonna get some interaction here. Who can tell me what is the max amount of contribution for your house buyers plan, first time buyers, house buyers plan? 35,000 is correct. Right? It's 35,000, right? So an HBP plan is a plan where you can take money from your RSPs up to $35,000 and use it for a down payment of a property if you're a first-time buyer and you have 15 years to pay it back. It's $35,000 per couple, per person. So if it's a husband and wife, 70 grand. So that's a good program. But the money that you've put into RSP, you have not paid taxes on that. That's why you have to pay it back. This program here is called the First Home Savings Plan. I think it's called FHSA. This is a federal plan. It can be used in conjunction with the home buyers plan. I'm trying to think if it's federal or is it provincial. Let me know. Do you guys know federal, provincial? I think it's federal too. Anyway, so this is a great program. This is something, again, you should be Facebooking or Instagram. You're allowed, a first-time buyer, not owned for the last 5 years, can contribute up to $8,000 per year to a maximum of $40,000. $40,000. It's $40,000 max. $8,000, right? $8,000 per year, $40,000 max. But here's the advantage of this plan here. You can, if you make an $8,000 deduction, you can write it off your income tax like you made an RSP contribution. And unlike an RSP, when you take money from an RSP and you take it out, you have to add that money to your income tax and pay income tax on that money. Everybody okay? Yeah. This plan here, even though you get to deduct it from your income tax and you get to save income tax, when you take the money out, it's tax-free. And when you invest that money, any interest that it gains or any increase in value, that is also tax-free. So it's a double whammy. It's very, 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 very strong. First home savings account starts April 1st. So you can deduct it. You can deduct the contributions from your income, pay less taxes, and you can invest it in a tax-free environment, very similar to a tax-free savings account. And when you take money out, you don't have to pay taxes on it. Just you put it in your pocket. You have to use that money for first time. You have to buy a house.
No, you could use that for the pre-construction as well for the.
Yeah, as long as you're buying a house. Yeah.
And you have to be first time buyer.
First time buyer. You have to be a first time buyer. And I'm sorry.
You gotta be under.
It probably has to be. It probably can't be an investment property. It has to be for their own use.
Yeah.
But it should be at the time of the closing. Can you use that?
That's right.
Or pre-construction, when you're putting your down payment, can you use that every time?
Yeah, you probably could. Yeah, but there's probably, and then you can also top it up here and there. But it's there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, can you go over there?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to send you the details. There's some big details. Okay, so if you're really into it, okay, like me, you can print this out. and you can read it. But because we're, yeah, so I'm gonna give the. Usually when I'm up here, I always give you the Clare's notes. That's a good thing. So I take 20 pages of data and I boil it down into 3 sentences. So some of the highlights, $40,000. On the 15th anniversary, you have to pay it back. Right? Not pay back. You have to use the money within 15 years. You can't be older than 71. You have to be older than 18.
We got 20 years.
So what is it?
5 years, not own. You can transfer. Okay, so let's say you do this, but you decide you're not going to buy a house. You're going to rent the rest of your life. You can take that money and transfer it to your RSP without any penalty. That's a big deal too. Right? It says here that you can't use it with the home buyer's plan, but I read somewhere else where you could. Anyways, yeah, so it's a good plan. I can't see anything negative about it.
It starts
April 1st. April 1st, yeah.
Could be the brand new
Is there an
development.
age limit for that?
18 to 71. The 71, you can't contribute RSPs anymore. Right? Can't contribute RSPs and you have to start taking risks. Everything sort of all connects, right? Vacant home tax, we talked about that. Taxable income. Okay, so got good news and bad news. On your taxable income, they've actually increased the taxes percentage wise, but they've also increased your level. So they've increased it by 6.3%. This is funny, right? The federal income tax brackets have indexed to inflation using 6.3%, in Ontario at 6.5%. That's a good thing. It means you can earn more money to pay more taxes. So the highest tax bracket was at 221,000. Now it's at 235. So that's good news. So they've actually raised all the tax brackets by 6.5% or 0.3%, so that you'll stay in the lower tax bracket longer than that is. Everybody follows that? This is funny. I love talking math with realtors, eh? What? Anyway, so it's there. TSFA limits is increased to 6,500 rather than 6,000. Old age security clawback is 87,000 to 81,000. Anybody that's old. Anyway, it's old, just so you know, just a little tip. If you're paying your taxes and you go to your accountant and you're paying CPP, which is your Canada Pension Plan, and you're collecting CPP, so you're going to be over, let's say you're over 65 and you're collecting CPP. In my opinion, you should not be paying CPP when you're collecting CPP. And if you are paying CPP and collecting CPP, you're paying about $2,800 per year on your CPP that you don't have to pay. I took 1,400 times 2, right? So whatever it is. So 4,900. So maximum for CPP for a independent contractor, both employer portion is about $5,000. So you're saving $5,000 by not opting into it.
You probably get about $25 for a month.
Right. Anyway, so it's there. And then the clawback is 87,000 rather than 81. Clawback meaning old age security. After you make so much money, the clawback 100% of the old age security, you don't get any of it.
What is that percent there? What's it?
Old age security. It's about $450, about let's say $500 a month.
What is the max?
87,000 now.
That started the,
80, if you're making more than 87,000, but before it was 81,000.
yeah, but up to a point, then you have to pay back 100%.
Yeah, 87,000. And you make more than $87,000, you're paying 100% back. People earning less than $90,000 per year, family income, I assume, yeah, families, there's a Canada dental benefit for people. Yep. All right, and we'll get to City of Toronto. Okay, just going back here for a minute here. They said here that the inflation rate is 6.5%, so they've actually increased 6.5%. If you're a renter, sorry, if you're a landlord, you're rich. Because you're renting out a property. And because you're rich, the maximum increase for this year for rent increases is 2.5%.
Thanks.
Even though the inflation rate is supposed to be based on inflation rate. So the way that the rate increases work, it's inflation. So it'd be 1.8, 1.7 in normal cases, to maximum of 2.5. So now we're at 6.3, whatever it is. Still maximum 2.5. So in case that came up, I was kind of hoping maybe you'd be able to increase your rents by 6.5 according to inflation, but they're not letting us do that. So 2.5 is the max. City of Toronto is increasing their tax, and it's funny. Okay, I want your reactions here, and this is the Canadian reaction, I believe. They're going to increase the taxes in the city of Toronto. The proposal is they're going to increase it. Now, there's two numbers they're throwing out there. It's a 5.5 and a 1.5. 5.5 is going to be the increase in the taxes in the city of Toronto, and the 1.5 is an additional tax that they're going to they're calling it some type of infrastructure tax. So it's actually going to be a 7% increase in taxes for the city of Toronto. And a lot of people are saying about time or too bad, or, because in the city of Toronto, it's like 0.68, as I said, and places like Oshawa, it's like 1.3 or something. Just this year. They adjusted every year. So an average person in Toronto is paying like, let's say, if you had $1 million house in Toronto, you're paying $6,300 in taxes. If you have $1 million property in Oshawa, you're paying $13,256. Twice. And who has the better amenities? Eh?
Yes.
Toronto, right? So they're paying less and getting more. Okay, 141. Okay, just two more things and I'm done. Three more things. Okay, before I forget, Wednesday, Caitlin, we have our session.
Yeah, we're doing back to the basics.
Okay, so we're still back to base. Last Wednesday was a pretty good show, a very good show. I thought it was very good. Last week, just talk about your database, talk about the Moxie Works, what you can do, how you can do. Hopefully you're going to take advantage of that. Hopefully you're going to do it. It's on YouTube, it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, or Instagram, no, Facebook for sure.
Yeah.
No, not Instagram.
No, sorry, YouTube. And
So we have another session here on Wednesday, just to follow up on that again.
10 things that we should be focused
Mhm.
on.
Okay. So these are Instagram topics, just to think about that you might want to do over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months, hopefully, or weeks, whatever you want to do. So you've got the yellow vacancy tax notice. You may want to have some type of something on that, right? You've got your title insurance against fraud. So let's see, you want to do a little bit thing on that. You've got your first time buyers program that you might want to do something on that. You've got your Toronto tax increases. Is it 5%? Is it 5.5 or 7%? So if you read the newspapers, you'll say it's a 5.5% increase. Read another newspaper, it says 7% increase. So maybe on your Instagram or thinking, hey, is it 5.5 or is it 7? And then explain what's going on or ask me questions, right? You got a non-residence tax for 2-year ban, and after that, it's 25%. So even though we have a 2-year ban right now in Ontario, it's 25% for non-residents after that. January 25th is the next rate increase or announcement. Everybody thinks it's going to be, what do you guys think? Are they going to increase it or leave it the same?
Stay the same.
Okay, so let's start a pool. Let's throw a buck in. And this year, you're going to have the RICO. You're going to have the regulations for the Real Estate Trust Act. This has nothing to do with your clients. It's more to do with you, but maybe it will have something with your clients. They're talking about transparency and multiple offers. Mhm. Some people say no, some people say yes. Makes no difference to me as long as we know the rules. Right? As long as we know the rules, who cares, right?
Selling the office.
What else are they going to change? I didn't write them all. They're going to change multiple representation, right? Customer service agreements, things like that. They can change it. You've got Realm coming up. We've got the Moxie Works. you've got Sky Slope coming up now. I guess this year we haven't really pushed Sky Slope, although we're doing it, but behind the scenes. Sky Slope, what is Sky Slope? Sky Slope is a cloud storage of documents. That's all it is. So all your documents are stored in the cloud, and the cloud's called Sky Slope. Soon, Trev is going to give you the option. I don't like the option. I don't know, I guess I'll talk about it anyway. So who types their own offers here? And some people do type their own offers. I prefer that the office types it, but some people do. If you type in the offers, you're using web forms. Soon you'll have an option to use Sky Slope instead. And my understanding is the Sky Slope is a better alternative, but you guys can tell me whether it is or isn't. So they're going to offer that on Toronto MLS. So it's going to be part of your Toronto MLS offerings that they'll be able to do. But the advantage that we have or you have, we've already had Sky Slope for so long now. So if you're going to get now doing offers on the Sky Slope, the two sort of connect together. So it'd be kind of fun to see how that comes down. So it's there.
We like the first brokerage, like second, first in Ontario.
First one in Ontario. You know, we were the first Ontario to do it. Now everybody's joined us, right? And then lastly, but not least, MLS forms. So only one person put up his hand, so that's good. So if you type your own offers, make sure you're using the 2023 forms. And for those people at home. We're setting up right now, and the way we do it, we take the editable forms, we put them into our format, we put our clauses in, and then we type offers. We've got them all pre-typed. The girls just take the MLS information, they put the information in there, and then they send it off. So it's very simple. It's all done. Some things that they've changed. By the way, it is against the Toronto Real Estate, and I think it's RICO rules or RICO rules. It's against the rules to use outdated forms. So I know I have some people here that don't like. I'm one of them. Don't like to be told what to do. And they've had the forms there since 2019. I'm not going to change it. Well, things have changed, right? So
They're in our Google Drive. You can just send it, they automatically update.
forms automatically update, correct? But
on web
some people have saved templates. Some people have. If you've saved templates, you got to make sure you update your templates. Some people save them on their like outside the cloud. They save it on their C drives and what. It's like what we do downstairs. Outside the cloud.
What I do.
So what have they changed? Not a whole lot. They changed little words like tender clauses, minor revisions, UFI clause have changed just a little bit. Nothing really to worry about. They've corrected the spelling in a lot of things. Binders fees. I don't want to confuse over here. There's some minor stuff. Lots of forms. I don't think we use half the forms.
When the rental applications will be annoying how it says spouses information should be co-applicant, and I always follow with no.
Let's change it.
So I have to change it because I'm on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, some tenants here, but one thing they have changed, I want to get right to is some of the clauses. Okay, so some of the clauses. So we've got tenant acknowledgement for no rent increase limitation. So if you had a condominium that was built after November 2016, 18, it's not subject to rent controls. So they've got a clause in here saying the landlord hereby notifies the tenant, the tenant acknowledges that the premises is not subject to rent controls. So if you want to just throw that in, you could, right? Further sum. Purchaser agrees is a different thing, but the buyer agrees to pay a further sum of X amount of dollars subject to adjustments to the seller and completion of this transaction with funds drawn from the lawyer's trust account in the form of a bank draft, certified check, or wire transfer using Link's high value payment system. Right now, we just say using large value transactions, so the wording's changed. So that's a little thing there that you'll see on the new forms. Talking about this what is it? The buyer agrees to pay the balance purchase price adjustments to the seller, completion of this transaction with funds drawn from the lawyer's trust account in the form of bank draft, certified check, which wire transfer, again using the Link's high value payment system. Okay, whatever that was. That's wrong with language now. So, okay, so it's not a whole lot. I think it's just that one. Basically, it's that large value thing there. That's all. Okay, good. Done. Questions? Anybody have any property they want to talk about? No. Shafiq?
The listing I mentioned yesterday, today is going to be uploaded to the system. We have access under a minute, expecting one to offer over it. So, 3-bedroom finish basement, 2 floors. Somehow but was not upgraded. So hopefully upgrading 186 element over not between Lawrence and Eglinton. Hopefully we get them up soon and you can advertise it in any way, shape you want.
Okay, so just to recap, is the listing you have already? Is it on MLS? Okay, what's the list price?
We're gonna listen under a minute, just under a minute.
So 999,000. So it's gonna be listed today as a detached house.
Yeah, the detached home, 2 floors.
What's your price expectation?
Well.
$2 million.
No, you listed for under $1 million. So what's your target?
No, I mean, some properties, yeah, some properties in this, so those are my limits. Yeah, and so I think my expectation, I think we get it for 1.31.
What's it called?
Okay, so
108 by the others.
One time, which is it. What I can increase it now.
you're gonna list at 999. You want a 1.3 as your target?
Okay, one garage, but the driveway is why is it such a way that you can two cars, even 3 cars. No, you don't want to say it.
Okay, Shafiq, this is really hard, right?
Yes.
What would your client sell it for? What would your client sell it for? What would your client sell it for?
Between me and you.
What is his expectation, my expectation?
What's his expectation?
His expectation?
Yeah.
For the poor guy, paid 1.3,
He paid 1.3 when?
a year ago.
A year ago. Okay, all right.
He finished the thing.
Renovated it.
And he renovated it since then?
Minimum 150,000.
Okay, and this individual, is he in the business of renovating or is this his personal property?
No, he was not, he was not planning to sell. It was serious to think.
And why does he want to sell? Not, don't give me any private stuff.
Sorry.
If he doesn't get his 1.3, will he sell?
I think yes.
He will?
So I'm not supposed to say that. to you.
No, I understand. No, dude, I'm asking, okay, so here's the question. Okay,
1.1.
so here's the question. Somebody asked me this already. They're trying to get 1.2. What did they list it for? List it for 699 or list it for 899? What do you do? You're trying to get 1.1.
That's the.
Okay, so figure out your property. Somebody else wants 1.1. Do we recommend you list it for 699 or we recommend we list it for 999 or 1.2? Not you, general. What's the advice? Okay, everybody here, what's the advice? I want $1.1 million for my house. What do we list it for?
949,
We're not talking about his property.
8999, 949.
That's it.
Oh, don't forget the 8.
So, all of the above.
Just get the listing.
As I have seen the last, I would say 2 weeks, following agents, what they do with the price change and things like that. I don't think it's a good idea to have it very low and then bring it up so high. So it's a good idea. For example, if the situation is, I mean, you want a minute to, just you should visit, just under a minute.
I disagree though.
What about
You wanna play with their listing,
Sorry?
you wanna play with their local. You want offers, right?
So if anybody has any properties, just to close this up for people at home,
I have 2 questions online. Too.
just close up for people at home, talk to Nelson, talk to myself, Jenny, anybody else here, just get some strategies. It really depends on the motivation of the seller and how fast he has to sell, because if the quicker the sell you need, the lower the price it needs to be.
I said that.
2 questions up. on the board.
What advice would you give an investor client? Sell now or wait?
Okay, so we're gonna do a poll here. So you got to, Got a second question here. So if you got an investor, you tell the investor to buy or sell, what do you do today? And what's the other question?
The other one is, can you remind me about capital gain rule?
Okay, capital gain rule. So if you got a capital gain, you're taxed on 50% of the tax at your personal tax rate.
Further questions?
So as far as the investor goes, I've always said, you've got investor has, there's three reasons why investor invests in real estate, right? One is to, well, maybe two ways. One is to have cash flow, positive cash flow, and one is to have positive appreciation. Any other reason?
My friend did,
Speculation?
my friend did.
I said investor, right? So investor's not emotional. Investor's like, well, I want to keep it because of my grandmother's house. No investors here, right? So if neither one of those are happy, then it's time to sell. So if the seller can sell for break even or positive cash flow after he sells, I'd sell it now.
He's told me
Agreed.
what they're switch fine.
And I'm talking about the question here was investor, do you sell now or later? Anything else? Any other, anyone wants to talk about anything? No. Okay, all right, going.
Email that was eliminated. Do they give us another option with another email with them, or that's it? Let's get that option.
Okay, I'm gonna close this off and I'll talk about that. Okay, everybody, so back home. See you next week. Hopefully see you Wednesday. Everybody come here Wednesday. So Wednesday's gonna be a good show. So thank you. Take care.